If someone told you that what has made you successful is no longer viable, would you believe them? When the Dow Jones Industrial Average marked its 100th anniversary in 1996, only one company had survived to join in the celebration. The challenge for today's emerging leaders is in understanding what happened to the rest. We are in the greatest financial crisis in a generation. Business leaders must recognize that the game has changed. And while they cannot predict what's next, they can design the future. In 1909, Henry Ford revolutionized an entire industry by applying assembly line manufacturing to mass-produce automobiles. Ford was able to manufacture 6,000 Model Ts a day, at a time when his closest competitor was only able to manufacture 700 cars a year. But by the mid-1920s, sales of the Model T had declined. What happened? Ford had changed the game, but in time, the competition was imitating his assembly line. With cars readily available, customers wanted options, but Ford continued to offer only cars that were painted black. The production problem had become a marketing problem. Henry Ford's failure to understand the consequences of his own success led to the death of the Model T. Almost a century later, we find ourselves faced with a worldwide economic crisis. The story of Ford's refusal to appreciate the implications of his own success is a reminder of what happens when leadership fails to adapt to the very environment it creates. Managers often work to improve the performance of individual parts of an organization, thinking this strategy will lead to success. But an organization can actually be destroyed if the interdependencies between those parts aren't considered.
In our current economic environment, you can really see what poor leadership has done.
The business model that got us to this crisis is not the business model we need to move out.
That's why a different approach is needed. An approach that challenges emerging leaders to think systemically about organizations and the landscape in which they operate.
As a leader, and here I am the COO of my own company, I need another way of thinking in this new economy, this global economy.
Systems thinking enables us to deal with the interdependencies of life, the chaotic nature of our environment.
In order to make change, you really have to understand what's really going to be some of the obstructions to change.
The systems approach challenges leaders to question basic assumptions about their industry and their business. By doing so, they are able to think differently about how to drive change.
Systems thinking is actually giving me the tools to understand all of the interdependencies and to enact change in a way that actually can be successful.
Systems thinking is a practical, applied approach grounded in theory and proven over time in application. It is one of 5 content streams that run through the Villanova School of Business Executive MBA curriculum.
I chose Villanova because the curriculum, which is not like any curriculum that I've seen.
Economics, accounting, financial management, all these things, you're integrating them into the systems thinking framework.
It centralizes the systems theory within its curriculum.
Our curriculum is more geared towards solving problems, and I think that makes it unique.
No organization is where they were 1 year ago. The global economic crisis has impacted companies and countries, and now organizations need strong leaders. Leaders who recognize the game has changed. Leaders who have the ability to transform the way the world thinks.